Phosphorus. Nothing grows without it. It's as essential to food production as the soil itself. Modern agriculture is able to feed the people on this planet only because hundreds of millions of tons of phosphorus are extracted from mines each year and applied to farms. Scientists estimate that phosphorus mines in the United States will be depleted in about 25 years. After that, America will likely have to import phosphorus from Africa and China. There is no substitute for it. No one's sure how profoundly this will impact world food production, but it seems pretty certain that in the future, phosphorus is going to be harder to come by and more expensive. But wait, isn't the news always that we have too much phosphorus? Escaping from livestock operations and wastewater treatment plants, getting into our lakes and rivers, causing algae growth that kills marine life? Well, all that phosphorus that we eat and that animals eat does get concentrated heavily in waste streams, and those can become an environmental problem. The good news is, this problem is leading to solutions for sourcing new forms of phosphorus. Dairies and wastewater treatment plants are beginning to turn this waste phosphorus into a mineral called struvite, which can be applied to field crops just like mine phosphorus. Multiform Harvest has installed commercial-scale struvite reactors at wastewater treatment plants in the Pacific Northwest. This new technology allows us to capture phosphorus from large waste streams before it's disposed of in local rivers. We then take this waste phosphorus and we turn it into our struvite fertilizer product. And what's that look like? This is where we collect the phosphorus. And this is struvite. It's a granular powder. It's 29% phosphorus, plus it's 6% nitrogen and 10% magnesium. It's odorless, it's easy to bag, it's easy to ship. It handles just like conventional fertilizers. Researchers are finding out it really performs. Washington State University, for one, believes that phosphorus recovery from waste streams is key to preserving the vitality of the state's agricultural production in the coming decades. Dr. Rita Hummel has conducted the most thorough studies to date of struvite's capacity for providing phosphorus to growing plants, comparing its performance to conventional phosphorus fertilizers.
We're looking at struvite as a sustainable, renewable, if you will, phosphorus source for producing plants in the greenhouse. So far, we're having really good success substituting struvite for the phosphorus in struvite for the phosphorus in triple superphosphate. You know, we did do a preliminary study prior to this one where we really looked at struvite at higher levels, so we went at greater rates than what is typically used of triple superphosphate, and found that you don't need those high rates, and then found that even half the rate of struvite looked as good as triple superphosphate in some preliminary experiments. So in this particular work that we're doing now, we're cutting our rates down to as little as a quarter of the typical superphosphate rate.
When phosphorus is applied to soil, it anchors itself in place and plant roots have to find it as they grow. But they don't find very much of it, typically only about 20% of the amount applied. That means 80% of the nutrient remains in the soil, where it is often carried away by erosion or it leaches deeper into the soil and becomes inaccessible. But you can't put conventional phosphorus right next to the roots of a seedling, or it will release the nutrient too fast and overwhelm the young plant. So applying phosphorus is sort of a game of hide and seek, a game that's somewhat expensive for growers. Struvite is different. Because it releases phosphorus more slowly, it can be applied right in the root zone. In Dr. Hummel's last study, she wanted to discover whether she could significantly reduce the amount of struvite at planting and still get the same result as with conventional fertilizers applied at full strength. You applied triple superphosphate and struvite, and you used traditional application methods. You incorporated them in a fir bark medium, and you top dressed with them.
You'll see these are all incorporated, starting with the most struvite, moving down to the least struvite, and then this being the control, the triple super P control. And again, like you've observed, I don't see much difference between them and certainly the super P control.
This plant was placed directly in contact with our Struvite fertilizer, the roots directly in contact, and we lowered the amount of the treatment to a quarter the phosphorus that would typically be put in a plant like this. It grew as well as any other plant you see here, including those that were treated with triple superphosphate.
They look very, very much alike. So I think we've got, two really good things going for us. The Struvite work, Struvite being a renewable product, a sustainable product, fits right in with the other research that I've been doing for years, which is looking at recycled organic materials as potting mixes. So things like yard waste compost, biosolids compost. And we know that the industry is going to add fertilizer. It has to. The mixes that are used in container crop production are soilless. They typically don't have real high cation exchange, so they're not holding a lot of nutrients. So nutrients have to be added if we can find slow release sources that are less harmful to the environment and actually are recycling. That's really cool stuff. That's what I really feel like I should be doing, is looking down the road at things that are coming along as far as a product.
Growing trials in eastern Washington performed in 2013 showed that row crops treated with Struvite grew as well as those treated with conventional monoammonium phosphate fertilizer, or MAP. Subsequent tissue sampling of potatoes revealed that Struvite met phosphorus requirements for the crop throughout the critical stages of plant development. In these trials, Struvite was broadcast applied, so higher volumes of Struvite had to be used relative to MAP because Struvite does not have the same phosphorus concentration. But at 29% phosphorus, Struvite does not have to be applied at nearly the rates of other recycled fertilizers, such as manure, which is about 3% phosphorus. And unlike MAP, Struvite can be applied directly into the seed rows when planting, so it has promising potential to significantly reduce overall phosphorus application with row crops, just like in the greenhouse. If you think Struvite might be a good fit for your growing operation, you can contact us directly or ask your local fertilizer distributor about Multiform+Struvite. Research is ongoing. We're always learning new things about this fascinating product. To learn more about Struvite, contact us at Multiform Harvest in Seattle, Washington. Struvite is registered with the Association of American Plant Food Control Officials and available for bulk purchase.